Throughout my life, I have always been a social person who enjoyed having conversations and sharing my thoughts with others. Ever since I could remember, I enjoyed learning about the various cultures in the world. When I was 11 years old, I began learning the Spanish language. This introduced me to several new cultures with a different language than my own. I believe it is beneficial for people to learn about various cultures and to study more than one language. This is so that they too can expand their social and global horizons like I have been able to do. Since the first day of middle school Spanish class, I knew I wanted to continue learning the Spanish language. This is so I could use it to communicate to people who did not speak English like me. So I continued taking Spanish classes while I got into high school. I eventually made it up to AP Spanish. I also had many opportunities of participating in Spanish volunteer opportunities and a weekend Spanish language immersion camp experience to enhance my understanding of the language. Therefore, when I started college, I knew I wanted to have a minor in Spanish. After taking 2 years of Spanish college courses, becoming a tutor, and participating in several Spanish language volunteer opportunities, I obtained my minor in May of 2015. Although I am not fluent like a native speaker, I am still proud of my progress, as I am at an intermediate to advanced level depending on the conversational topic. This last summer, I had my first opportunity to utilize my Spanish language outside of the United States when my family and I went on a vacation to Aruba. It was the first time my family and I took a vacation outside of the United States. I was excited because I knew about how Aruba is a culturally diverse island. A total of 4 languages are spoken by its resident population. The 4 languages spoken are English, Spanish, Dutch, and Papiamento, which is a Creole language based off of African, Portuguese, and influences of English, Dutch, and Spanish. Although English is widely spoken and understood in Aruba, some people tend to be proficient in some languages over others. This was the case with a few of the workers and guests who were at the resort my family stayed at. Some of the resort workers and guests came from the nearby Spanish-speaking countries of Venezuela and Colombia, plus some of the workers grew up speaking Papiamento, which is a closer linguistic relationship to Spanish than to English. But since I had prior knowledge in Spanish, I could use it to communicate better than my other family members could, since they do not know Spanish. Even though I had several opportunities to speak Spanish in Aruba, the situation I am about to share is by far the most rewarding one. I got to utilize my Spanish language knowledge with a worker who was in charge of cleaning our room each day. She was originally from Colombia, but she moved to Aruba. One afternoon, my mother had to call her on the phone to ask her to clean up a broken glass bottle of sangria, which had fallen onto the floor of our room. But when my mother tried to explain what had happened a few times in English, the worker did not fully understand her. Therefore, my mother said, "I have a daughter who knows Spanish." She then had me explain to her what had happened in Spanish since it was in her dominant language. So I told her, "La botella se cayó al suelo y está roto," which translates to "the bottle fell to the floor and is broken." She understood immediately what had happened after I explained it to her in Spanish. While in Aruba, I had several other opportunities to speak with native Spanish speakers at the several dances that were held at the resort, suggesting places to attend, and even asking people to take our family photos. By being immersed in Aruban culture, I also got to learn the basics of Papiamento vocabulary. So this situation gave me more confidence in my Spanish conversation skills and even introduced me to a similar language. It also let the resort worker and others develop a closer connection with me. Throughout the trip, the worker would ask me in Spanish how my day was and talk to me about other conversation topics. She was sad to see me leave and wanted to know when my family and I would return to Aruba. I still keep in contact on Facebook today with her and some of the other people I met. Overall, I never would have had this opportunity if I did not know Spanish at a communicative level. So by utilizing my Spanish, I had a chance to expand my Spanish knowledge not only for myself, but also for the others around me. I even got to make new friends and learn a new language's vocabulary too. Since the experience in Aruba, I took another Spanish class just for fun, and I continue to volunteer for more events in the Milwaukee area Spanish-speaking community to continue improving my skills.